All right, digital applications, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about slide transitions and animations. Before we get into the actual skills and start applying it to our presentation though, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about what a PowerPoint presentation is meant to do and how that's going to guide our decisions about transitions and animations. So first off, it's important to note that PowerPoint has a very specific purpose. It is a presentation software. Okay, so if I am creating a document that is just for me and my eyes alone, I'm trying to record information or take notes or organize something, I'm probably going to use either Microsoft Word or Microsoft Excel. If I'm using PowerPoint, 99% of the time, that software is going to be used to create something that is viewed by someone else. It might be an individual, it might be a group of people that are viewing it from the comfort of their computers. It might be an audience that you are doing like an oral presentation for. Okay, but at all times, PowerPoint is meant to be viewed by someone else, and it's meant to help you give information to someone else. Okay? And so with that in mind, it's important with PowerPoint, even more than with our other programs, that we're always thinking about how is this going to be viewed by someone else, by the viewer. Okay? And so when we start dealing with things like transitions, which help animate the movement of one slide to the other, or animations, which helps animate individual elements on a slide, we have to be thoughtful that those transitions and animations take time. And I don't know about you guys, but for me, when I'm watching a presentation, I don't want it to last forever. I don't want to have to wait a long period of time between this piece of information and that piece of information. I want it to go relatively quickly. Now, that's not to say that transitions and animations are bad. In fact, they have a lot of really good things to just kind of smooth out the presentation, to make it look more polished. And there's some cool things that you can do to help control how information is presented. And in that way can actually help enhance the message. Okay, so there's definite benefits to transitions to animations. But when most people start off with these things, what they typically will do is they'll throw everything but the kitchen sink at their presentation. You'll have things zooming across the screen all over the place and a bunch of different, razzle dazzle. And it really just ends up making the PowerPoint, to put it bluntly, tedious to watch. And that's not what we want. We want people to enjoy watching our presentation, or at the very least, not be bothered by our presentation. That's the goal. All right, so with that, we're going to move forward. Here is my PowerPoint presentation. This is what we were working on with Activity 3. And you'll notice that I've renamed this. So you should go ahead and click on File, Rename, and change it to PowerPoint Activity 4. Dot your initials. All right. And from here, we're going to start from the very first slide. Now, I'm in the Transition tab here, and you can see that I've got a gallery that I can expand, and we've got subtle transitions, and we've got exciting transitions. Okay, exciting sounds great, right? But let's just look at how this works. So I'm going to go ahead and do, as an example, origami. I'm going to apply origami. I can see that it's been applied because I see this little star motion symbol. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apply to all. Now look, this duration is 3.25 seconds. It's good to know. Let's see how this works in real time. I'm going to go to my slideshow and I'm going to go from the beginning. And here I'm going to go to my next one. Okay? All the time that this animation is playing, my audience is waiting. And it really when I'm not talking and giving the presentation, it might not seem like much, but really, having this kind of like fluttery bird across my screen, waiting each time I'm going through a slide, and especially if we're going to add some animations to it, is just going to really kind of slow this down. Okay, not to mention the origami bird, it doesn't really have anything to do with my presentation, right? If I was doing something about China, like the Great Wall of China, or something along those lines, maybe the origami bird would make sense. So, all right, what we're going to do then, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to undo my animations by clicking undo twice. You see that my animations are now gone. And we're going to go back into my transitions and look at this list again. Okay, so here is my advice. For the most part, when you're applying transitions, go with a subtle slide transition, one of the ones along these lines. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to choose, let's say, fade. Okay? Now, I also have some options with each of these, so I can go fade it smoothly from one transition to another, or do it through black. We can see what that is. I can already see that this is a much shorter duration, so it's going to happen a lot quicker. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to apply that to all. All right, and I can see my animations are playing across all of my slides. Now I'm going to go into my slideshow. I'm going to go ahead and preview it. And we can see how this looks. It's a lot quicker. It's a lot smoother. This is what most of your presentations should look like. It should have a kind of a quick flow from one thing to the next. Now, what is the use then of our exciting transitions? I like to use exciting transitions for 1 or 2 slides in my entire presentation where I have like a really aha moment, or it might be the last transition on the way out to do something kind of clever. Think of them as punchlines or points of climax in your story. Okay? So if I'm going through, and this isn't like the best presentation because it's not particularly exciting information, but let's say for my end, the last slide, I want to kind of leave on a clever note. I did something artistic here. Okay, so here, and it reminds me of a child's classroom. Okay, so on this slide, while it's selected, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick a paper airplane. Okay, so I'm going to do that. And in fact, I might even drag this out because it is the last slide. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, in fact, make it longer, 2-second duration. Okay, now let's go ahead and play this. All right, we've got our slide transitions. They're going nice and smooth through. I'm giving my presentation. I get to my last one and whew. All right, so I've got a cool kind of moment here where I show my fancy art, and I introduced it with a paper airplane. So there's like one way to kind of use the exciting transitions to your advantage. Okay, they can add excitement. So make sure that you have done this just like I did, where we've applied a subtle transition to all of our slides. And then on slide 5, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put an exciting one. If you want to choose different ones, that's okay. But we're going to do subtle for slides 1 through 4 and exciting on slide 5. All right. Let's talk then about animations. So, okay. So we're going to start off pretty simple here, and then in the future we'll get a little tricky with it. But we're going to go to our very first presentation. Okay? So maybe when I'm looking at how I want to reveal my presentation, I want to just show my title, and then I want this information to kind of come in later. All right, so this is an animation. Transitions go between slides. Animations happen on a slide, okay, is one way to think about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this placeholder and make sure that it is selected. While it's selected, I'm now clicking in the animations pane, and here again I have a gallery, and we have some different things here. We have entrance, which will make an object appear in different ways. Emphasis will take an object that's already on the slide and do something to it. And exit will cause an object to disappear in a specific way. Okay? So what we are describing is an entrance. So I have this selected, I'm in animations, I expanded this, and what we're going to do is we're going to zoom this, we're going to fly this. Let's fade it in. I think that'll look nice. Okay, so we're going to fade it in. Now after I select fade, I see that this little number comes up here. This is showing that there's an animation attached to this object. And I have some options, and these are based on, what the animation is and what it is animating. We're going to do this all as one object, okay? And let's see what that looks like real quick here. I start like this. When I push my arrow key on my keyboard, I'm going to see that come in. All right, and now I transition to my next slide. I'm going to press the escape key to come out of my presentation. And now we're looking at slide number 2. All right, so for slide number 2, what I'm going to do is I am going to animate this smart art object. I'm going to click here, and again, so we're going to go into the animations pane. I'm going to close this so that it's just a little bit more simplified, our view. All right, and while my smart art object is selected, I'm going to click on animations, and here I'm going to do a fly in. Here we are going to change some of the options. So first off, I want to do these from the left. The other thing that I want to do is I have an option down at the bottom here whether I want to do the whole smart art object as one, or we're going to select one by one. So here, let's look at this one more time. From beginning, I've got my fade in, and then here on this slide, as I click my arrow, I can talk. This is a good way to show, with my animation, I can control how much information my audience is getting. So maybe I want to talk about basic layout of PowerPoint 365 a little bit at first, and I want to say a few words about it before my audience starts thinking about entering new slides and layouts. I'll talk about that a little bit, and then when I'm ready, I'll click forward and I'll apply basic design. Okay? But you notice that the way that I'm talking about this animation is in service of the way that I'm intending to animate it. The way that I'm intending to present it. Okay? I'm not just putting these up here for no reason. I'm doing these animations to help control what my audience sees and when, to help me give the message better. All right, I'm going to escape out of that. And let's see. I would like you to animate, let's see, an entrance. We've got 1, 2 placeholders here. So this is the part where you're going to do your choose your own adventure. I would like you to add 3 animations. An entrance for, let's try this. With your animations, I would like you to put an emphasis on your title, methods of design. We're looking at slide 3, methods of design. You're going to put emphasis on the top. Then you are going to do an entrance with the design tab and an entrance with the designer view. Okay? It's up to you how you want to do that. and then turn in what you've got for me above and beyond what I've already done with you. Okay.